Okay. Good morning, everybody out there in TV land. We're recording. We're recording this video of Sefer Shmuel class on January 21st, and we hope are glad you could watch
Isn't
it with
this
us.
this is
Uh,
the 22nd?
22nd. Thank you, Linda. And today we're going to review what we learned last week about the Aron being returned from the Philistines. And we're going to talk in depth about something that I feel is very, very important, not only in connection with this particular part of Sefer Shmuel, but also that it is so relevant to us today in our the world that we live in, and that's called holiness, kedusha. Also attached to that word of holiness is sanctity and some we have to find a word that is more encompassing than awesomeness. And what I want to refer that to is what happened with the return of the Aron from the Philistines to Bnei Israel, and the situation that the Israelites were placed in when the Aron did return. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back and we're going to read the particular the pasukim, the chapter. I believe it was chapter 6, and we're going to find out
Right.
what happened, because we know that the Aron is being returned. Okay, so let me put this up on the screen for you. Can anyone tell me what they remember from what we discussed last week about the return of the Aron and what the Philistines did?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Well, they made golden copies of various nasty things and sent quite strange. And I wonder whether Hashem up there actually laughed when he saw what they were doing.
Okay.
Because they thought maybe that would help.
Okay.
That's and sent it back.
So they sent the Aron back with, and do you remember what the hemorrhoids were made of?
Gold.
And what
Yeah.
else? What else did they include?
Oh, they included.
Sorry.
Do you remember what else they put in the box with the return of the Aron? Mice, 5 golden mice,
No.
and 5 golden hemorrhoids,
Yeah.
so to speak, images of dwellings. Okay, and what did um the five lords of the Philistines say about all of this? Do you remember?
They didn't. They didn't.
Return the Aron.
They returned it because of what?
They returned it.
Why were they returning it?
It,
Mm,
They thought it was cursed, basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
They wanted to just get rid of it because they thought that they would all feel better and have all this curse taken off of them if they just got rid of it.
right, right. So they thought that if they got rid of it, then the plague of would be finished, and that they would be hopefully normalized. Um, but what is it that we find that happened?
well, they sent it to Ashdod the second time. I mean, everybody who received it uh, got that plague,
Okay. Well,
and it went to 5 cities in an
right,
area. You showed us it's like an area that like literally goes around and ends in Jerusalem.
right,
That was that map that
right.
with those like this, like a circle it was.
Okay. All right. So let's read. Um, while we're talking, I'm having terrible difficulties with all of the some. I don't know what has happened, but uh, all everything that I needed to show you today is just not showing up. I'm having a really hard time with this. You know, some days just don't work. Um, I don't know.
Oh, the Philistines.
Okay, let me try and get all this. Just give me a moment. I'm so sorry. Um, no, this is not working. I can't get any of the things that I wanted to share with you. Um, hold on a second. Um, Ladies, I'm having a terrible time here. Nothing is opening up. Nothing is able to be shown to you. And
Maybe we could each read a part of chapter 6 and just talk about it.
do you have it in front of you?
I have.
I do.
I can go get mine.
Okay.
I have it
I've
in
got
my
it, but it's very archaic
All
language.
right. So Linda, do you have it in front
I
of you?
have a Tanakh that's very not okay. It's not okay.
Okay.
Non-archaic language.
Not okay.
All right.
Go, Linda.
Go ahead, Linda.
Where do you where do you want me to start?
Start
Chapter
at chapter 6 at the beginning of chapter.
Okay. Okay. The ark of Hashem had been in the land of the Philistines for 7 months. The Philistines called upon the priests and the sorcerers, saying, "What shall we do about the ark of Hashem? Inform us how we should send it back to its place." They replied, "If you are sending back the ark of the God of Israel, you must not send it back empty handed, but you must certainly send back a guilt offering to him." So That means they acknowledge God.
Right.
All right. Then you will be healed, and you will realize why his hand would not turn away from against you. So they said, what is the guilt offering that we should send back to him? They answered, according to the number of Philistine governors, 5 golden images of hemorrhoids and 5 golden mice. For the same plague is upon is upon you and upon your governors. Make your images of hemorrhoids and your images of mice, which are demolishing the country, and give them as homage to the God of Israel. Perhaps he will alleviate his hand from upon you and your gods and your land. Why should you harden your hearts as Egypt and Pharaoh hardened their hearts? Did it not happen that when he mocked them, they had to send the Israelites forth and then left? So now take materials and other 1 new wagon, and take 2 nursing cows upon whom a yoke was never placed, and and to the cows to the wagon, and send those calves back home from behind them. Then take the ark of Hashem and place it onto the wagon, and put the golden objects that you are sending back to him as a guilt offering in the box at its side. Send it forth, and it will go. Then you will see if it ascends by the road to its boundary towards Beit Shemesh. Oh my gosh. Then it was he who brought upon us all this great evil. But if not, we will know that his hand did not afflict us, but it was all by chance that this befell us. That's crazy. The man did so. Shall I go on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
The
yes.
man did so. They took 2 nursing cows and tied them to the wagon and secured their calves at home. They placed the ark of Hashem onto the wagon, along with the box and the golden mice and their images of hemorrhoids. The cows set out on the direct road, on the road to Beit Shemesh. On a single road did they go, lowing as they went. I don't know what lowing is. Lowing as they
Like
went.
mooing,
Mooing.
making noises.
Lowing, as they went. And they did not veer right or left, because they had to be on a straight road, right?
Right.
The governors of the Philistines went behind them until the border of Beit Shemesh. The next is verse 13. Do you want to?
Okay. Okay. So let's stop there. And let's talk about what we just read. Okay. So the 5 governors meet from the Philistine cities, and they all decide that the Aaron has to go back, that it wasn't such a good idea to capture the Aaron, and that it was time to send it back. And the governors decide that in order to appease the God of Israel, they have to send a gift. Now, they weren't sure what kind of gift that they would send, and so they put the Aron on a brand new cart. They had absolutely no idea how to treat the Aron. All they knew that is that the Aron was causing them great difficulties and creating a plague within their people. And they decided that since they didn't know exactly what to do with this, they put the Aron on a cart that was made especially for the Aron. And the Aron is not big, it's quite small actually. And they then put it out in a field away from their city to await the decision of what the gift would be. And so consequently, the Aron is sitting out in uncovered, just on a cart, an empty cart with absolutely no cover, no nothing, just sitting there. The lords or the governors of the city decide that they're going to use the most precious metal. They're going to create images of the plague that had been sent to them by Hashem, and they create 5 swellings and or hemorrhoids and 5 mice.
5 mice.
Now, last week I told you that in many ways this story parallels the story of the Exodus of Egypt. Um, in many ways, and that 5 hemorrhoids, 5 mice equals 10. The 10 is the same number as the 10 plagues. The Philistines, the Plishtim, thought that God had used up all his arsenal of plagues and that he had no more. And they were bitterly surprised, and it disrupted their whole society. And once they had these images crafted, they then take the images and put it in a separate box with the cart. They decide to find 2 milk cows, the cows who had just given birth. And they attached the 2 milk cows to the cart, and they put the cart on the path on the roadway to Beit Shemesh to send it back to the borders of Israel. So why did they choose the milk cows? The reason is that they wanted to make sure that God was divinely returning the Aron back to Eretz Yisrael. And if you take a mother cow who has just given birth and you put her calves behind her, then she instinctively will go back to the calf. And so they put the calves, they stood there with the calves, and they sent the milk calves pulling the Aron in the direction of Beit Shemesh, waiting to see whether God would direct the cows to return to Beit Shemesh, to Israel, to the Hebrews, as opposed to the cows turning the cart around and going back to their calves. Do you understand that this is almost against nature? This is something that's not natural. So the cows start lowing and mooing, making animal noises because they're being tested basically and taken to Beit Shemesh, on the road to Beit Shemesh. Now the Philistines see that the cows are starting to go toward their destination, and they start following, the 5 lords start following the cart. Now, it's not a long distance between Ekron and Beit Shemesh, and the five lords continue to watch and follow the cart as it goes towards the Israelites. Now, they wanted to make sure that the cart didn't veer off the road, that the cows didn't eventually return back to their calves, and that they would get to their destination. Having seen that was the case, that they were actually getting to their destination, they see that the people of Beit Shemesh are in the fields, and that they're actually bringing in the crops, they're cutting down the wheat, and that it could possibly have been, at the end of the beginning of the summer, and harvesting the wheat before replanting. And the people in the field see this wagon, and they look up from the fields, and apparently they recognize what it is. And it says in the text, and I want Linda, you'll continue to, or someone else can continue to read, that they gazed upon it. Let's see, I now have.
It says here in verse 13, it starts to tell about that the people of Beit Shemesh were reaping the wheat harvest in the valley.
Okay. So let's see what happens here.
Oh, you got it.
Hold on a second. I'm going to try and get it. This has not been a successful day.
It's successful that we're all here. That's what's successful.
Oh, thank you. It makes me feel better. All right, let's see if we can get this.
It's Shmuel.
All right. So what happens here? Did you read all the way to the end here?
I read until and included verse 12.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next chapter, chapter 7, and see what happens with the with.
No, Rhonda, we're only at verse 13.
Right, we didn't finish.
We didn't finish chapter 6.
Right.
Okay, well, all I have here is that it's up to 12. I don't know why it's.
Okay, Rhonda, I have 13.
Rhonda, I think you're on chapter 5.
No. Oh,
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, look at you guys. All right. You see,
we're awake. We're awake. Hey, it's okay.
Good. All right.
All right.
Okay, let's read. Xenia, can you read for us, please?
Sure. Okay, you want me to read from my text, right? Because we don't have it
right here.
Okay.
No, it's up on the screen.
Oh, I don't find it. Wait a minute.
On the screen.
Oh, it is? Okay, hold on. Let me just go back to the.
All right.
I think I was on.
All right, Susan Franks, can you read it for us? Sorry.
Yes. Now the inhabitants of Bet Shemesh were reaping the wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, and they rejoiced to see it. And the cart had come to the field of Joshua, the Shemashite, and stood there, and there was a huge stone, and they split the wood and the cows they offered up as a burnt offering to the Lord. And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord and the box which was with it, wherein were the golden objects, and they placed them on the huge stone. And the men of Bet Shemesh offered up burnt offerings and slaughtered sacrifices on that day to the Lord. And the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen, and they returned to Ekron on that day.
Okay, so let's stop there for a second. All right.
Yeah, Rhonda, can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
Why, if they knew what was good, didn't they realize that they were going to get a plague if they, took in the ark? Didn't they know what happened to the first group that had it? And why would they want it if they're going to get hemorrhoids?
No, who are you talking? This is the Israelites are doing this.
I'm confused.
The cart has returned to Beit Shemesh.
Mhm.
The people of Beit Shemesh see that the cart with the Aron has returned to Israel, and now they're thrilled. They're very happy, and they look upon the ark. It's just sitting there in plain sight on this cart with the 2 cows. And what they do is they take the box of that has the golden objects, and they take the wood from the cart, and they create a fire so that they can sacrifice the cows, the 2 cows, as a sacrifice to God of thanksgiving that the ark has been returned. They're not going to get they're not going to get the hemorrhoids. These are Bnei Israel.
Oh, I thought.
The cart returns to Israel. Is there anyone who's not clear about that? Okay. So the cart is returned. The ark is with the ark on top of it with the gift, and now the Beit Shemeshites are making a sacrifice for the return of the ark. Now, something very, very strange happens now. But first, before this terrible tragedy occurs, the people, the lords from the Plishtim, the Philistines, see that the Israelites have accepted the cart, that they're making a sacrifice, and immediately they turn around and head home, which is a good thing, that they did not stay one moment longer because of what is going to happen next. And this is the part that I want you to read very carefully, because we're going to talk about this in depth. This is the ikar. This is the crux of something very, very important. So let's continue. What was it? It said that the Levites took down the ark of the Lord. Okay, let's on 15. Who was reading? Susan, you want to continue? Read that again. I want everyone to hear this. Go ahead.
And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord, and the box which was with it, wherein were the golden objects, and they placed them on the huge stone. And the men of Bet Shemesh offered up burnt offerings and slaughtered sacrifices on that day to the Lord. And the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen, and they returned to Ekron on that day.
Okay, so they're gone. And now you would think that the Israelites have done something wonderful by making a burnt offering.
Right.
Let's read what happens. Continue, please.
And the golden mice were according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines, which belonged to the 5 lords, from fortified city to open village, and even to the great stone upon which they had placed the ark of the Lord, which is until this day in the field of Joshua the Bet Shemeshite. And he smote the people of Bet Shemesh, for they had gazed upon the ark of the Lord. And he smote of the people 70 men. Can you wind it up?
We're up to 18.
70
Oh,
men.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now we're on 19.
Here we go.
Shemeshite. There was up to
70 men.
and 50,000 men, and the people mourned, for the Lord had struck a great blow upon the people.
Read
Wow.
that one again. Read 19 again, please.
And he smote the people of Bet Shemesh, for they had gazed upon the ark of the Lord. And he smote the people 70 men, 50,000 men, and the people mourned, for the Lord had struck a great blow upon the people.
Go
Roger,
ahead.
why did
No,
they say
wait.
that?
Let's
Oh, go
finish.
ahead.
Let's finish.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
And the men of Bet Shemesh said, who will be able to stand before the ark of the Lord, this holy God? And to whom will it go up from upon us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim, saying, the Philistines have returned the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to you.
Okay. What happened here? Can anyone tell me what's happened here?
Well, the people thought that Hashem was going to be happy with them for, having it back, and, for the fact that they did the sacrifice and the burnt offerings. But instead, it seems that Hashem was really very angry at them.
Why?
And it's kind of puzzling. I actually was wondering why it first said a small 70,000, and then it said,
7,000. Right,
like
70,
why did they keep those two numbers, delineated separately? That was my question.
Right. So there's a machloket, there's a disagreement, a dispute about how many people were actually killed. They were whether it was really 70 people or 50,000. The number is almost irrelevant, although 70 people is a lot different than 50,000.
Right.
And it's hard to believe that there are 50,000 people doing the wheat, cutting down the wheat in that
Right.
particular field. However, if we can ignore the number and
Right.
just understand that something went wrong here. Something is not right. When I first read this, and I'm thinking, good grief, here are the people, they look up, they see the ark, they're excited to see it. The text says they gazed upon it. When you gaze at something, it's not just a glance, it's
Right.
not just a look. It's, they're really looking intensely at it and figuring out what it is and possibly what to do with this ark, because for most people they probably had never seen it. They had never seen it. There was no reason that they would ever have seen it. Why? Because before the war it was housed in Shiloh
Right.
for over 100 years, and it stayed in the Holy of Holies, in the tent of meeting, in the tabernacle, and nobody went in to that Holy of Holies except the Kohen Gadol once a year on Yom Kippur. So what is it, if you know that information, that nobody sees the Aron, if you know the Torah, then you read this text and say, oh boy, they made a big mistake, and that's why they were killed. And I'm going to talk to you about that mistake. But if you are not familiar with the laws from the Torah about the Aron and how to treat the Aron, and if you don't know anything about the Aron, and you go and try to do something that you may think is okay, but you're not sure because you have no clue as to what to do, then there are going to be consequences for that. Now, don't forget, why were these people at war with the Philistines in the first place? Why had the Aron been stolen from Bnei Israel in the first place? Can anyone answer? What was the war about? Who attacked who, and who was leading the war? Do you remember? Eli's sons,
Oh,
the
right.
the two
He took
corrupt
the Aaron
the
out.
two corrupt sons of the Kohen
Yeah.
Gadol, Eli, who placed more emphasis on the actual box as a talisman, as a good luck charm, than what the Aron actually represented, which was the meeting place of God and humans, because the Shekhinah of God is everywhere, and the Aron is like a visual kind of uh, point where humanity can understand that there is a God, but it isn't God. The Aron isn't God.
Right.
So what had happened? The Philistines take the Aron. God says, you, the Jewish people, don't even know what the Aron is all about. And since you don't know what the Aron is about, you're going to lose it. So, my question to you, and I don't know what time it is, but my question to you today is, if you are confronted with holiness beyond your comprehension, what do you do? This is a very heavy question. I'm going to talk while you're thinking, so you can sort of half listen to me and half think. And then I'm going to show you some of the laws from the Torah about how we handle the Aron. I don't think that 21st century man, and this is not an accusatory statement to you or anyone, so don't take it personally. This is everyone in the world today. I don't think we, and I include myself, understand the significance of God's holiness. Do you think I'm wrong?
There's so much we don't understand.
Okay, you want to
And
elaborate?
and we just have the faith in Hashem, and we know that we don't always understand what happens. We're living it right now, as a matter of fact. And the Jews have always lived it.
Okay. So, anyone else have anything? If confronted with the most holy of holies, what do you think? How would we feel? How would we react? What would we do?
I think you would stand and just like try to take it all in and feel overwhelmed.
Perhaps you would cover it.
Who said that? Carol?
Yeah.
You're right. You're
What she
exactly
said.
cover it. You would cover it. Why do you
Oh,
say that, Carol?
that's interesting.
It's always covered in the services. They Aaron we have in all the shuls or the Bet Knesset. We
Right.
always draw over it.
Okay. Okay. Um, So what was actually in the Aron? Does anyone know?
Oh,
Tablets.
Hmm?
The tablets.
That's right. The two tablets that Moshe
two tablets,
Rabbeinu
right?
wrote
Yeah.
on Har Sinai, because he broke the first set of Luchot. It's Midrash that says that both sets were in the broken set and the ones that he wrote. But actually, it says in the text of the Torah that in the Aron were two tablets that Moshe Rabbeinu had written at Har Sinai at Horeb.
Oh,
That's it. Now, I'm going to show you. I don't know whether we have time today or not. I know
Oh,
that
it's 11:59.
it was a very crazy day, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. You For 11 years, I don't think I've ever given you a homework assignment. So 1 out of 11 years is not bad.
that's true.
So I'm going to ask you, each and every one of you, to see what you can find for next week's class as we talk about the holiness of God and the Aron HaKodesh. And what and when
Holy
and
God.
when we talk about it, what we can learn about holiness and sanctity and respect. And I'm going to leave you with this.
Holiness,
I'm going to leave you with this.
sanctity,
Wait, can you repeat that, Rhonda, so that we
Yeah.
can? Yeah.
I
and respect.
want all of you to find out whatever you can. It doesn't have to be a 10,000 word essay. Just what
Holiness of
is
God,
the holiness of the Aron HaKodesh all about? The sanctity and the respect that we have to give to the Aron and Hashem. And what does holiness mean?
Wanda, I won't be on next week's class, but
Oh, Susan. You
don't be too disappointed. I'll catch up. But
okay?
could
Okay.
it be that the Aron is covered because we're not supposed to know
Yes, that's
all
part
its
of it. Well,
revelations?
that's
And if you don't know, then you've got to rely on faith.
right.
If everything is proved to you, you don't need faith.
okay.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
okay. That's good. That's a good starting point. That's a very good
I'll
starting.
leave you with that.
Okay. Now
right.
I'm
Till
going to
next
leave
week.
you with something else. Okay. God tells us to take a box, and He specifies in the Torah how to build this box. It's made out of plain acacia wood. On either side of the wood, it's covered with gold. And from there, God tells Moshe explicitly what to craft out of gold for the box, how it will be carried, how it will be respected, etc., etc. What what is it that we put in a box? Sometimes we'll take an item and we'll put it in a box like a very precious piece of jewelry, and
Right.
we'll put it in the box and we'll close it up, we'll put it away. And on those special occasions, we'll open that box. But then that's something that we use. What if we were told that we had a box? We could put the most precious things in the entire world in it, but we could never see them again. And those
It's
precious
like
things Those precious things were how to run the world. That the Ten Commandments, the Luchot, represent how God has mercy, how God has justice, how God has morality, how he inspires the world to do good for each other. But we can never, ever see those words again. Bnei Yisrael at Sinai had that opportunity. But once Moshe makes the Aron and places the Luchot in the Aron, we can never see the secrets of running the world again. And from the moment we put a lid on that box, it is protected by the people that God chooses that will be a light unto the nation, who saw the words of God and will try and bring those words to fruition for the entire world. And then when they do, they are met with people who hate them, despise the laws, despise the rules, despise everything about what God has said. That's what's in the box. But we're going to talk about it even more so next time. And I think if we think about it in terms of a precious box, the way we just described it, it will give us pause to think about our humanity, what we do with our lives as Jews, and what God really represents to all of us who accept him and all of us who don't.
You know, Rhonda, when you said about the box, putting what we want to put in the box and close it and never open it, the first thought I had was my family. That's the first thing that came into my head.
Well,
It's
your
because
family,
it's so precious.
well, your family is a gift from God.
That's right. Every time a baby is born normal, it's a precious gift from God.
Yes, it is. But that's not what's in the box that we're talking about. We're talking about the Aron HaKodesh.
Right.
So I
Focus.
leave you with that because I think that it's a very, very powerful thought. And next week, I hope that we won't. I'm going to try so hard not to have technical difficulties because I want you to see what we can learn from the Torah. You know, we read the Torah every week, and I'll bet all of us have read the parshiot about the Aron and the sanctity of the Aron. And you know, if we read it once a year and we're 60 plus years old, maybe we've heard it 60, 70 times. And maybe we've never thought of the holiness of what God is talking about. And also, I want to talk to you about what Shlomo HaMelech says about the Beit HaMikdash and the Aron HaKodesh. And I want to talk to you about the significance of what David HaMelech prays that he will be able to house the Aron HaKodesh. These are the greatest men. These are the wisest men. These are the men who fought to be holy, and they wanted to do and make a place to rest God's spirit in the form of this Aron could rest. And what we're going to learn next week is powerful stuff. I look forward to it. And I think it'll be an exciting kind of a lesson. So I hope you'll be with me next week. I'm so sorry about the difficulties. I apologize, and just have a good rest of the week. Take good care of yourself, and come back with your homework assignment. Okay? I thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you very much.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom,
Thanks,
everybody.
Rhonda. And don't, no guilt. It's enough.
Don't take it to heart.
It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this wasn't as bad as you think, Rhonda.
Yeah, right.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take
Thank
good
you.
care.
Love you. You know,
Thank
Well,
you.
all the best.
Take care.
You guys are great. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Dina, before you leave, do you still have the phone number that you had before? Because I needed to talk. Are you living in Rehovot?
Yes.
And
Oh.
did you want to stay with our chapter, or did you want to join a chapter there? Because I didn't know.
I have joined
The Ramon.
Hadassah in Rehovot. Yes.
Oh, the Ramon chapter?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Okay, fine. That wasn't really clear, so I just wanted to make sure that you weren't falling between the cracks. So, okay, all right.
No,
You're always welcome to come to Modine and come to our too.
I do, and I will. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Oh, and Rhonda, I apologize. We were at a movie when you called last night, and I didn't see your message until very late. By the way, it took us an hour and a half to get home from Yishbru, from the movie theater last night.
what?
There was
Why?
an accident on the 446.
Oh
It took an hour and a half. I mean, it
Wow.
didn't take us very long until we got to like a block before the 443. The rest of the time, about an hour and 15 minutes of it was getting from like the 443 to our house.
Oh my
So
goodness.
It's insane. It is insane.
Wow.
Anyway.
You could discuss the movie with your husband.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's all. Jesus.
He was trying to avoid
wait, I better stop recording.